Transfer Exchange Show. We are live, and it's the Premier League roundup. There were plenty of ups and downs this weekend for the what you would call the obvious, what you'd think were the favourites or the obvious winners. No, Arsenal dropped points to Southampton. Liverpool dropped points to Nottingham Forest. Leicester getting a 4-0 win against Wolves. Many other games that maybe some other shocks. Crystal Palace going 3-0 down to Everton. There was the obvious, which is Man City beating Brighton. But we also had some twists and turns as well with Leeds at home losing to Fulham. But we're going to go through it now. And, of course, we can't forget Tottenham losing to Newcastle United at home as well.
No.
I'm joined by Steve. How are you doing, Steve?
Yeah, it's good, mate. Good. I'm really good. It's interesting. Even you speak. Then it was like I didn't realise, how many shocks there was, and how many teams that dropped points. So, yeah, it was a good weekend, really, wasn't it? Typical Premiership.
Yeah, no. There's. I was thinking it earlier and the other day as well. I was thinking this season. It seems like you can never guarantee the obvious result. You're watching, you're expecting the obvious, but then there's teams taking points off teams you don't expect this season. So it's going to leave it massively open. I feel like there's going to be like 3 different leagues within the league just because of that. Because it's just going to break those victories where you've got like Everton beating Crystal Palace, but then Crystal Palace will go and take points off one of the top teams.
Yeah, they're
going to make a big difference in this season and potentially leave a little bit of a gap in between each little mini table. So yeah, we'll see. All right, as usual, we've got the timer. We've got 30 minutes. Don't worry, we can.
Pressure's on.
We can do this. We can do this. All right, let's. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Let's go. All right. Oh. I'm stuck. All right, so West Ham beating Bournemouth 2-0, but there was a lot of controversy in this game, Steve. With obviously the Kurt Zuma goal, the handball, and I think we can't really not focus on that. Really, what was your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, we've spoke about it quite a few times, haven't we? I mean, this was all sort of revolved around that own goal. Sorry, the handball that was, if you like, which to me was an absolute joke. I can't see how it was given. Guy jumps up with his hands crossed, sits him on the hands, and for some reasons that's normal. But on going on the game, looking at the game, the West Ham 2-0. I mean, it wasn't too long ago they were sitting 3rd from bottom. Now they're sitting 10th from top, and it's quite a turnaround for West Ham. They're starting to get a few games under their belts. They've got Manchester United the weekend. It's crazy to think where they were, because if they was to beat Manchester United, that would put them 3 points behind Manchester United. So quite a turnaround, really quite a turnaround.
And although Bournemouth did drop points, still sitting in 14th place, and their results it's more like they've lost 2 on the trot, but they've got a draw, they've got a win. These are the signs of results you expect of Bournemouth, but they're still doing well. They're still grinding out, getting the points here and there, which at the end of the season is going to make a massive difference.
Well, yeah, I mean they've got. Gary O'Neill's come in and he's done well since he's come in. Yeah, you're right. They've had a couple of hiccups recently, but look, they're sitting 14th now. I think they want to get another win under their belt soon, or at least a draw. Start picking up a couple of points. Teams like Bournemouth, you don't want them to get them a run of losing games. I mean, at the moment they're sitting in 14th, and that's fine. But you could turn around in 2 weeks' time and they could be struggling at the bottom. It's that type of league at the moment. But, yeah, they've got some worries. Dominic Solanke went down with an injury. The goalkeeper, Neto, I'm not too sure how he is. So they're going to hopefully they're fit for them and their injuries ain't as bad as what they seemed first off.
Yeah, so they've got Tottenham on the weekend, followed by a game away against Leeds. But they'll be looking at that Leeds game and thinking they could get something here. And even the Tottenham game at home, they might be thinking they might be able to get a point out of that. But we will see in next week's show. Obviously, a streamlined, smooth queue onto the next one after the Tottenham comment. Tottenham losing 2-1 to Newcastle United. Newcastle United we're starting Newcastle United getting on a bit of a run. A team that should be taken seriously. I saw their fans in the summer asking a couple of questions to other fans, asking if they think that Newcastle could get into Europe and break into that. They will break into this European top 6 this season, maybe even potentially top 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think we said on the first show of the season that I wasn't too sure about Newcastle. They was drawing a lot of games for me, but ever since I said that, they've been absolutely on fire. They, as you say, they've got into the top 4. You know, the weekend they've got some players there. Callum Wilson, scored the weekend again. Almiron, can't seem to do nothing wrong at the moment. Gimuri's in the midfield, just seems like he has a world-class game every week. Joe Leaton's turned into absolutely from a 2 out of 10 a week and to a 9 out of 10 every week. So they're looking good. They're in the top 4, but Tottenham only got themselves to blame, mate. On that day, the Loris cock up was an absolute. Don't know what he was doing there.
They were trying to claim a foul on that one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was never a foul. I mean, what was he doing out there? I mean, Callum Wilson didn't even know the guy. Didn't even know he was there. He sort of looked up, turned around, and then all of a sudden, Lloris is in his face, and they got the cheek to put their hands up and say free kicks. And if you're centre forward, you're saying, well, you shouldn't be here anyway. But yeah, no, I think Lloris he's a little bit prone for mistakes. But look, Newcastle top 4, 5 points off leaders Arsenal. Arsenal have a game in hand, but yeah, they're starting to put a run together, mate. And you're absolutely right. They could be candidates for a European place this year.
Yeah, and Tottenham, 2 losses on the trot. It's a few comments going about with the likes of Conte. Doesn't seem like he's talking about free transfer windows, but will he be there in free transfer windows?
Well, we all know what Conte's like. If he don't like the way the things are going, or he's not getting things the way he likes through the board, then he just picks up and leaves. But I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't like the way Tottenham play. They bore me a little bit. They seem to like to flood there. Do you know what it seems like here? And it seems like Conte tries to play the Italian way, and he's buying players who are suiting the Italian league. This ain't the Italian league. This is the Premiership. Okay, it was okay when Conte was here before, but it's a totally different league now for me. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot faster. He's buying players like Periships and Bentancurs are coming in. He's already got Olberg there. He's bought Basuma. There's no flair there. There's no pace there. There's nothing there.
Do you think it will get to a stage where, look, if there's no winners' medals coming in, do you think Tottenham fans are going to start getting a bit itchy feet and start questioning that they're not being entertained?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Conte ain't one for entertaining, is he? I mean, I think Tottenham supporters should really have known that when he came in. I mean, he likes to play 3 at the back. He likes to play the two wing backs, which means you've got 5 defenders on the pitch right from the off. So that should tell Tottenham fans something what they was getting. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, they're already seems to be getting itchy feet already. But look, they're still sitting 3rd. It's just hope that again, Harry Kane again. It's just he's the one who seems to keep scoring the goals, and I don't know where else they're going to get the goals from. Son seems to have packed up. Yeah,
it does seem like it's getting a bit stale again. You can keep on scraping the mould off the bread, but deep down, it's mouldy bread. It's the same bread. All right, you can't. You can keep on bringing these 2 elite managers back to back. Tottenham needs to start seeing some trophies. You sacked Mourinho when he got you to a final. Sacked him before he could have a chance to win that trophy, and I think he probably would have won it as well.
I think if you go at Spurs, if you go at them for the off, you win the game. I think we've seen that now with Arsenal, the way when they played them. You know, the way with Man United, when they played them, they was fast. They was out the blocks. Newcastle the same.
Yeah.
They can't handle it.
They can't. They can't. Big loss for Leeds at home. They took the lead, but then it didn't last long. And then Fulham came back and smashed in 3 goals to make it 3-1. And then Leeds ended up getting a late consolation. Jesse Marsh, he's under pressure. I do worry about Leeds. I didn't worry about him last season, but this season I do worry about him. I just feel like Jesse Marsh seems like a good, half-decent manager. Seems very nice, very positive, but some of these Leeds players, I think they need a kick up the backside.
Yeah, they do. And Jesse Marsh, you know, the buck stops at the manager at the end of the day. And for me, his job's on the line. Again, another defeat. They're sitting down there like, you know, in 18th, just with, I think they got 9 points. And that's bad. That's bad. That's relegation form. Obviously, that's why they're sitting, in a relegation position. But he needs to do something quick. Yeah, you go through their team. There's not a lot there. There's not really anything there that stands out. They've not really got a goal scorer. All they've got is Rodrigo, who don't really get many, and also Patrick Bamford, who I don't think he started again the weekend. I don't know why, because he looked.
No, but they seemed a better team when he played.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, so I'm saying that Rodrigo scored the weekend, but he did score. But he's not. I mean, if he gets 10 goals, I think he'd be lucky out of him. So, but yeah, I mean, in trouble. They're in trouble. They've got to probably do some work in January, but there's a possibility he could be the next one out if Leeds don't start picking up some points. But Fulham, different kettle of fish.
Yeah, Fulham sitting in 7th, 18 points. You'd have to think that it would have to be, they'd have to fall off a cliff to be relegated this season. Marco Silva probably deserves a lot more respect than he's been getting, especially from those Sky Sports pundits. Mr. Merson, I think you owe someone an apology.
I think he owes many people an apology. I think Paul Merson, as much as we love him. But yeah, they're looking good, aren't they? They've looked good since the off from the start of the season. And as you've already said there, you know, they're sitting in 7th place. They're 3 points off a top 4 position. I mean, they're having a fantastic season. I mean, when you go through with their team quickly, you know, they've got Leno and they've got Ream and Dibayo as centre backs. They've got like Paulinho in the midfield who's playing well. And then you got like the offensive players. You got players like Perez, Harry Wilson. You got Mitrovic, and we got our old friend William who popped up with one on the weekend. So they've got a good side. They've got a good side, and like what you said, I can't see them going down now. Not at all.
Yeah, and me myself, obviously, there's Mitrovic who's been absolutely on fire this season. But the players that I'm most impressed with are the 2 players that came from Championship teams. Cordoba-Reid, he came from Bristol City, and Harrison Reed, who came from Middlesbrough as well. So I've been well impressed with them. I was impressed with them when they come in the Premier League last time, and then they went down and they came straight back up, and they're doing the business this time as well. So big shout out to Fulham for at least keeping the players that they had on the books in the first place, and showing them that they're actually pedigree for the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely.
Next up, Aston Villa. Steven Gerrard out. No caretaker manager in. And they get a 4-0 victory against the Brentford side as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What a start for the former assistant manager, Aaron Danks. It's just a world away from the 3-0 defeat at Fulham that led to the sacking of Steven Gerrard on Thursday night. Night and day. Absolutely night and day. Leon Bailey's going to be. They must have come out right off from the blocks. Leon Bailey scoring after 2 minutes. I mean, he's starting to find his feet now in the Villa shirt. I think he's been one of the shining lights when Steven Gerrard was there. He was playing well. Danny Ings getting himself a couple, and Ollie Watkins, getting one as well. And yeah, I mean, things looking up for Villa.
Yeah. And Brentford, just a minor blip in the league, still sitting 11th. Probably there's no danger of them going down. Still got players in their team. Yeah,
they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They've got good players. I think they just caught Villa on that day where they've got someone new in and they've all decided to play for him and prove themselves. They've obviously said that if he is the new next manager, you need to prove to me that you want to be in the first 11, and they obviously certainly went out and did that, and Brentford felt the brunt of it.
Yeah, they definitely did. Another team who's looking in danger this season, Wolverhampton Wanderers 4-0 to a Leicester side who have not been good at all this season. But Leicester coming in, when they do win, they win with a pomp, 4-0 away from home. And that's excellent goals, especially one from Yuri Tillemans.
Oh, it was a classic. Wow, what a goal that was. I mean, after 8 minutes as well. I mean, look, both of these teams are still, in deep trouble down there, But Leicester have got showing that they've got a little bit about them. Their top players scored the weekend. Tillemans, Barnes, Maddison, and Vardy. He's been due one, and he's got one. They've got players like Pat Sadaka in there. Sumer in there. I like the centre back Vault. He's come in. He looks good. Is it James Justin, the guy? Is that his name, James Justin, or Justin someone? Yeah, he's very good. He's very good. So I think as well. Yeah, he's a good player as well. Yeah, definitely. So they've got some good players there, some really good players. So hopefully they can get themselves together, and they've got more than enough there. They should have more than enough there to get out of trouble really and finish mid table. But Wolves, I worry. I do worry.
I mean, Jimenez, he's non-existent anymore. What's his name? Traore, again, very, very up and down. They've got very talented players in their team, but they're just not clicking. How did it all go wrong with Bruno Lage? Like from last season, where they weren't scoring many goals, but they were a team that were very hard to break down.
They were, yeah.
They could score. They were sitting in 7th, 8th for most of the season last season. Now they're looking like a team that could get relegated. How could they fall off a cliff so much?
Well, first I think that they've sacked Bruno Lage very prematurely. I think it's a big mistake, an absolute big mistake, and I think it's one that could cost them. They've got good players. You look for their team. They got some really good players. You've always got Imminence there. They got Podence there. They got Mortinho there. They got the goalkeeper. They got Joseph Sarr in there. And there's a couple probably I even know. There's the new, is it Guedes who's just come in? Who looks a player. If they just need a manager to come in and get them together, and they could start playing, and they'd be all right. But why is it taking them so long to get a manager? When did they say Bruno Lage?
There was even talk of getting what's his name back.
Well, I never knew that, and it wouldn't surprise me because, like I just said, I just don't think they should have sacked him in the first place. I just think it was an absolute ridiculous decision. And they can't buy no players. The best they can come out with is Diego Costa, who I don't know. He seems to be just there for the money because he's just doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. You got if any Wolves, directors listening there, you got Scotty Parker out there. Go and just get him in. Give Scotty Parker a go. We spoke about Sean Dyche the other week. He's not that type of manager, but he's better than nothing, and he'll keep you up. Right? It may not get you middle table, but it might finish you fourth from bottom. And even get Steven Gerrard. Have a word, have a chat. See what he can do. But the longer they leave it, mate, they're in deep trouble at the moment, and they're in debt. So I can't see them buying much in January either.
Yeah. Wolves are in trouble. Next up, we saw a 1-1 draw for Chelsea. Man United took the lead, but then Chelsea came in and got that equaliser. No, sorry, other way around. But what was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought they cancelled each other out a little bit.
Yeah.
It was sort of like it never really got going for either time. Like when Chelsea had the majority of play, you never felt they was going to score. when Man United had their bit of play, you never really felt that they was going to score. And it was two very good managers, Eric Ten Hag and Graham Potter, basically playing chess with each other to see who would come out with the points. In the end, they sort of said, "Okay, we'll have a point each," and that's how it felt. But what was McTominay doing? What was what was that? I was like, sometimes even if you ain't your own team, sometimes you want to cower and think, mate, come here. What was you doing, pal? What was in your thinking? Because that could have lost them the game.
But a quick comeback with a Casemiro goal, and I thought he played well in that game.
I thought he was excellent. I thought he was man of the match. I thought he was fantastic. Fantastic game. It was very. There was a performance by Thomas Partey for Liverpool where they had a 5-minute clip on everything that Thomas Partey did. I think it was you that called it, Gears, that you said they did a 5-minute clip on him. They did the same with Casemiro on the Chelsea game, where they just showed everything that he did, and it was went on for about 5 minutes.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, which is a lot.
Yeah.
He was total quality, and what an header. And Man United are our rivals, but you've got to love the celebration. Do you know what I mean?
I was going crazy, weren't it? Yeah. You like the passion, didn't you?
Yeah, you love the passion. We've played the game. We've been in them positions where we've got one at the last minute and we've gone crazy. And you get into the guy's psyche and you think, yeah, that means something to him, and you like to see that. Anybody who loves football should like to see that. The McTominay thing, very similar to the Jesus thing. One was given, one weren't. Yeah, consistency.
All right. Next up, we saw Manchester City beat Brighton and Erling Haaland back out of his bad form of not scoring in one game, I think it was, and straight back in scoring again.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't keep this bloke playing, can you? I mean, 2 goals, 1 penalty, and Man City come away with a 3-1 win. But I tell you what, Brighton were unlucky. They were very, very unlucky. They had more possession than Man City. They managed 8 shots to City's 10. And it's not often that you'll go to the Etihad and have more possession than Man City. And Brighton had more possession than Manchester City did. And they also had more passes than what Manchester City did.
Yeah.
So
that actually was better.
Yeah, it was. Everything was better apart from the scoreline was literally better with Brighton. So I feel they need a striker. Brighton, if they had a striker, I think
this is the same old story for Brighton, though, isn't it? Like, it's been the same story for about 5 years. Brighton are a good footballing team. They're always bringing a manager that will play football, and this guy's definitely one to look at now. Since he's come in, he's done really well. Yeah.
I mean, he's doing fantastic. He certainly knows his stuff, and he's literally, as you say, the biggest sort of praise you can give him. He's came in and took on with what Potter had, and and it hasn't dropped. The standards hasn't dropped, and they're sitting in 9th place. But Lallana and Welbeck, who played up front for Brighton at the weekend, they're not going to get you goals. So where we're sort of looking at it on a relegation thing, where we normally say they need a goal for a striker. This Brighton side, you could say they need a top. If they get a top striker, they could push for Europe.
Yeah,
or in the top 6, mate.
And it's a tough one for them because they've got to look for them gems. They probably thought they had something in Mopaker when he had that season where he was scoring goals, but it seems like his attitude just got too much for Graham Potter. And then they brought in Danny Welbeck. Although he does good, he's a very good, honest player. They do need someone who's going to bag 10 to 15 goals in the Premier League, and then you could be talking about potential Europe. We saw at Everton 3-0 against Crystal Palace. Lampard putting making me humble pie, or is this just Is there no consistency? Is this consistency for Frank Lampard? What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, there's not really a lot of consistency at Everton at the minute. This was just their third win of the season. I mean, they have drawn through, but I think I haven't got it. I think they've lost 5 games this season.
Lost 5, 4, 1, 3.
Yeah. I knew I knew they'd won 3. I wasn't too sure of the rest of the stats, but they look all right. Look, they're sitting in 12th, and Palace are a good side. Although I thought Palace were really poor again, this weekend. It wasn't the Palace we've sort of seen early in the season. When they're sort of, because they can be quite dangerous away from home. But I think Lampard's doing all right. I think he's found his club, if you like. He was at Chelsea. I don't think it was the right club for him. Derby was probably a little bit of a lesser thing for him. But Everton, I think, a good club for him. And yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to pull up trees there. But look, I think they're doing all right, and I think he's doing all right. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Everton could have won by more. It could have been more than 3. With Calvin Lewin, he scored. He's making a late effort to get into the World Cup squad. And Gordon and McNeil. McNeil keeps, again, we keep saying every other week, McNeil keeps getting goals, scoring goals. So they're getting goals from midfield as well. If Calvin Lewin can start knocking them in, then they'll be all right. They'll be pushing up the table for the top half very easily.
Could well be. And Crystal Palace. For me, they don't seem to be the same team without Conor Gallagher in there.
No.
I know I said it before. They lost that tenacity. They lost that bit of grit up in a very... Because the thing with Crystal Palace is that they had the high press with Gallagher, and they'd hit you straight away. So your defence would try and play out. Gallagher's on you. Then you look to your left, you got Wilfred Zaha. You look to your right, you got another player. If they had Conor Gallagher this season, you'd look to your right, you'd see Eze. You'd look to your left, you see Gallagher. Zaha. Look in front, you see Gallagher. I mean, that's a dangerous front three. They just don't seem to have that same energy as they did.
No, do you know what it is? You look at Gallagher's sort of like the link, that pins everything together.
Yeah. It's the glue.
He's the glue. Yeah, he's the glue. And as you said, you've named the players. You've got Zaha there. You've got Eze there. You've also got Michael Elise there as well.
Yeah.
But so you've got this three really top offensive players. You've also got Eduardo there at Palace as well. So you look at their front line, you think, wow, that would scare. If they come to the Emirates, I'd be like, whoo. Do you know what I mean? But what's these? I'll be a little bit thingy of them. But you're right, mate. He's perfectly right to pick out Conor Gallagher. He's that glue, and they need to find a replacement for him. Do
you know anyone in the Premier League that you'd think that could be replacing? Anyone out there?
Off the top of off the top of my head. No, not off the top of my head. I mean, why I would say there's some player Andres Pereira at Fulham's been excellent, sort of plays in that type of position. But again, Palace are a club that is going to be difficult to get players. They'll probably need to look in the Championship or something. Someone there, maybe someone like a McGinn of Aston Villa, maybe. Someone like that, very similar of an ilk, someone who can glue it together, win the ball, do the dirty stuff, and ping it off to Zaha, Eduardo, Elise, and Eze. That type of player, do the dirty stuff. If they can find someone like Gallagher who could do the flary stuff as well, fantastic. But that type of thing.
Yeah, they definitely need that foundation first. The big one of the weekend, Nottingham Forest. Beating Liverpool, and not just beating Liverpool, one of Liverpool's old players came back to haunt them.
Yeah, Nico Williams, was it?
No, it was Tueo and Wade.
Course, yeah.
One who hadn't played for me. He's been in there for 6 years because we did a post on him on the show.
You did? Yeah.
And he hadn't played for Liverpool for 6 years, and then was talking going, out of nowhere, right at the end of the transfer window, Nottingham Forest came in for him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he went somewhere. He was at Liverpool. We were saying he needs to go somewhere else, and
Yeah,
he did. And now he's come back, and yeah, like you said, he's come back to haunt them. And he had an excellent game, didn't he?
yeah.
He had an excellent game. I mean, like they're still sitting bottom, but that can only like breed confidence into the team, can't it? Beating Liverpool 1-0. I mean, they're in all sorts of trouble. I mean, it was a funny game because even when you look at the stats, Liverpool had 76 sort of percent of the possession, and which are like Nottingham Forest is 24. But when you have a look at the shots and the target and what actually happened when they got into the final third of the pitch, Nottingham Forest just has done as good as Liverpool. So what does that tell you? You had Liverpool had 15 shots, Forest had 10. On target, but they both had the same amount of shots on target.
Yeah.
So there's something there. I mean, that tells you Liverpool's offensive ain't doing too well at the moment.
Yeah.
And Henderson was fantastic. The goalkeeper Henderson was fantastic.
There's a world-class save from Henderson from I think it's from a Van Dijk header, very low, close range from a corner, absolute worldie from Henderson there. But Liverpool, it's not looking good for them this season.
No, their main players are just not doing it, are they? Yeah. I mean, Salah just, he's just anonymous at times. He just. Whether he's leaving next season, I think he only signed extra year, didn't he? If I can remember rightly. I think so. Yeah, I'll have to check it. I think it was only a year because and Virgil van Dijk. I mean, he's like a quarter of the player that he was, and what he was doing with that header. I don't know if you actually see the game, but it was an open goal, and he's headed it across the goal. Yeah. And he was like, "What was?"
But he could have got a hat trick in that game as well.
Yeah. He's dropped. His form's gone off. But that's quite a few of them have. So they need to pick up. But well done, Forest. Big up to them.
Yeah, and Forest now up to 9 points, which puts them even up until 18th. And then after that, look, Forest needs to just keep on putting points on the board. And when you can take points of Liverpool, it's points that Wolves aren't getting, Leicester aren't getting, Leeds aren't getting. That is the clock. That is the clock. However, starting to our finish. Last one, Arsenal. We're focused on first of all Stuart Armstrong with a great team effort. Lovely finish to make it 1-0.
Yeah, good goal from Stuart Armstrong. 65th minute. It was still plenty of time for Arsenal to get back in it, but they never really got going. And you never probably would. He was just never felt that maybe they was going to score. It was just going to be one of those days. A little bit of a bogey side, Southampton. But a good point for them, moves him up to 16th. Ralph Hodgson Ireland, good manager. Job's been at stake. I think they should stick with him. Again, we spoke about it already. Referee was awful through it. But they're 3 points off the bottom, Southampton, and it was a good point for them. I'm sure they would have took that before the whistle. So. Yeah, well done to Southampton. Arsenal still sitting top though.
Yeah, and Arsenal dropping points. Just a minor blip, or is there anything to worry about?
Yeah, no, just a minor bit. I think it was there was a little bit a mentality issue, probably maybe in the second half. There, Arsenal were excellent in the first half. It could have probably got 2 or 3. Fantastic goal from Granit Xhaka, third or fourth for the season. So, but no, I can't see any problem. Arsenal will be fine.
All right. And that is all we have time for. I think we went about a minute over, but it don't matter. All right. Everyone who is watching tonight, make sure you press that like and subscribe button if you are new. If you are regular, press that like and press that share button. You only have to press the copy. That's all you got to do. All right. There's some big games this weekend. Big games. Let's have a quick look of games. We've got Leicester versus Manchester City. We've got Newcastle versus Aston Villa. Bournemouth versus Tottenham, Brighton versus Chelsea. Graham Potter goes back to his old team so soon after leaving. Crystal Palace against Southampton at home. Crystal Palace need to probably get some points on the board, otherwise they're going to start getting into a bit of a slump. Brentford, you're probably looking to get 3 points at home against Wolverhampton Wanderers, who have been absolutely awful this season. Fulham versus Everton at home. It's going to be a tough one for Everton. I think we might get 3 points for Fulham there, but it should be a good game.
Yeah.
Liverpool versus Leeds. Surely Liverpool have got to get back on track there. But Leeds need to start putting some points on the board. So Jesse Marsh also needs to save his job. Will this be the game at Anfield? I very much doubt it. Will Jesse Marsh be back in his bags by the end of the weekend? We will see. Arsenal at home on Sunday at 2:00 against Nottingham Forest. This has got to be a 3 points for Arsenal. Don't take Nottingham Forest lightly because they're going to be bringing the fans, and you know what happened in the FA Cup last season as well. And Manchester United in the evening kickoff against West Ham should be a very, very good game. David Moyes just starting to get West Ham back into some sort of form, while Manchester United are starting to sort of probably get to grips with the Ten Hag system. Make sure you join us on the post-match reaction on the Arsenal show on Sunday, and you can also catch the Manchester United post-match reaction on Duke's Man United show on the Duke's Man United channel. All right, thank you for joining us tonight, Steve.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you for joining everyone. Peace out, stay safe, and wash your hands.